we would now like to request Faizan sir to come and address all of us.
Thank you very much. Yesterday, many people on campus were getting sentimental. Some of them were crying. I was most composed because I have seen such changeovers in my life. No one is inevitable. An institution is definitely bigger than than an individual. And I'm sure that you may get a better person to lead you. But this morning, you people are making me cry. And that's not a great way to go out of an institution you love. For the rest of my life, I am also a NALSARite without clearing clear. I took over at 4 a.m. in the darkness of night. I am going in the broad daylight. Our higher education system is over 100 years old. You had University of Calcutta in fact at that time, and University of Madras, and University of Bombay, and then University of Punjab. And then subsequently you got the two denominational universities, Aligarh Muslim University in 1920 and Banaras Hindu University in 1915. Both were the community initiatives. And in my opinion, both were the private enterprise. But if you look at the acts of all Indian universities, including the NALSAR Act, these universities, and I said it before the search committee also, and I have been consistent in this statement, that the greatest problem which is there in Indian higher education, it is that vice chancellor is the bride of the university. And universities are vice chancellor centric, and I don't like it. Therefore, I try to demolish this institution of vice chancellor. The primary stakeholder of the university is not a vice chancellor, is the students. And therefore, the students, universities, teachers, and non-teaching staff, and the buildings, and the classrooms, and the studio-like classrooms are there for the students, not for anybody else. Vice Chancellor, therefore, must be for the students. And therefore, the transformation and the experiment we made in NALSAR, that we involved students in the governance of the university. I tried my best to take students even to the governing council and the executive council, but that required an amendment, and the amendment could not come through from the assembly. But at least I have a satisfaction that during COVID, at least I was able to persuade powers that be, that at least get the students at least as a special invitee to the academic council. And therefore, there was once an occasion where students did participate in the academic council deliberation. There was a judges committee, an inquiry committee, which has gone into NALSAR. It had pointed out administrative deficiencies, financial improprieties. There have been very, very bad CAG reports indicting us in many, many ways. We had a deficit of 12 crore. Today, after spending so much of money on your big hostels, you had small pigeonhole-like hostels. Now you have hostels which have 150, 180 rooms. You are going to have a state-of-art Olympic-size stadium, for which I have already allocated 5 crore rupees. You have a library which is the best library in the country amongst the national law universities, and we are way ahead in our e-collection, even to Indian Law Institute, because I am the member of the Indian Law Institute library committee also. And the total money they invested in the library, I was there in the last meeting, was some about 24 lakhs or so. And in last 3 years alone, we have invested over 10 crores in the library. And for all these purchases, it was not the vice chancellor or the finance officer or some faculty member who was negotiating with the vendors. It was Ritvik who was doing all this. We had a SBC for which there was no direct election for the president. So we amended the SBC constitution. You now have an election of a president in which all students participate. Otherwise, only the chairholders used to elect the president, and he will be only from the final year, and there was no voting right for anybody. For the first time, we got a Dalit president. For the first time in my tenure, you got a women president. So I have the satisfaction in a scholarship. You had only 3.5 lakh fund. We increased it to 1 crore. And that 12 crore deficit, I was able to, finish off from the balance sheet in first 3 years. And thereafter, I started making savings. It was hard because, we had to expand and then save. I was told, this is what the government has been saying time and again, that we would give you money only for some time, and that time is over. Your buildings have been constructed, because they were giving money only for the buildings. Even I had received 70 lakhs as a grant in 1 year. And then I requested the Chief Justice to hold a meeting, and a finance secretary and chief secretary, law secretary and education secretary, they were all invited to Chief Justice Kalyan Jyoti Sen Gupta's residence. And there, when I said that we have no money, you are giving us just 70 lakhs, how can I run a university? My water bill itself is over 70 lakhs. So the finance secretary said, there has been a bifurcation of the estate, and we have so many welfare policies. There is a resource crunch. Even government is doing borrowing. And therefore, I got little annoyed, and I said, if you are in such financial difficulties, I can give you 1 crore. And then the finance secretary turned to the Chief Justice and said, look, how arrogant is your vice chancellor. I thought that the Chief Justice is going to take me to task, but he just looked at me and said, but vice chancellor is right. And next day, we got the 4 crore rupees, 4.3 crore. So it has been quite a journey for many, many years. You are getting 2.43 or 3.43 crore as your annual grant from the state government, that too only for the buildings, for no recurring expenses. Then I got it increased to 5 crore, and then to 15 crores, and then to 25 crores. So from 2.43 to 25 crore, I think is quite a journey. As of now, no national law university gets that kind of support from any state government. And that, I believe, has given NALSAR some kind of financial stability. But since I was not sure that the government would give us money every year, the finance secretary has been telling that, no, this is the last year we are giving. I started saving for the rainy season. And as I go in rainy season, you have about 100 crore corpus available to you, and this is students' money. This 100 crore is nobody's grant. It is the money I have saved out of your fee. And therefore, the students have a right over this money. You can also look at the allocation for SBC. What was the SBC budget? Somewhere around 20-25 lakhs or less, maybe 23. I don't recall exactly. I was not able to lay my hands on the 2012 budget, but that has reached almost a crore. Similarly, for research, we were spending only about some 28 or 29 lakhs. We are now spending about 3 crores. If you add the library books also, and the funding we are giving to all the research centers. the number of research centers has gone up. And in NAC, as you know, that we got the highest rank in the country. And then UGC and MHRD recognized NALSAR as the category 1 university. There are great national law universities which are not category 1 university. And I believe that this students' overwhelming support and participation sustained me. I was given in 2017 an offer of over 1 crore by Bennett. I refused to go there and continued here. My salary at NALSAR at that point of time was about 1.57 or 67 lakhs. And then after 3 days, I got a call from the top man in Bennett that since you are not coming now, we have decided you nominate our director. So Vivekanandan was sitting with me at that time. I said, Bennett jaoge? He said, bhej dije. And even he was given 90 lakhs. So all kinds of offers are pouring in. When NLS opened up, the students asked me to announce in the open house that I am not going. When NLU Delhi opened up, then again SBC came to me, sir, you won't go there. So I have not gone to NLS. I have not gone to Bennett. I have not gone to NLU Delhi. But more than that, in 2017, my own parent university sought my consent. And in Aligarh, you don't have a search committee. There is an election. And I have a similar kind of support there also. So General Shah, who was the deputy chief of army staff, was the vice chancellor, and he sought my consent that the executive council wants to consider your name for putting on the panel of the vice chancellor, which will eventually go to the president of India, who heads Aligarh Muslim University as the visitor. And I declined. I said, no, I am better off in NALSAR. So the emotional connect which I have with NALSAR, the faculty strength has doubled. In last 2 years, we were not, in fact 3 years, we were not able to do much because my tenure got shortened due to COVID. For almost 2 years and 4-5 months, we were not able to do anything. We were just keeping the show going and just ensuring that our academic calendar remains on schedule and the students do not suffer. Prior to that, there was a ban on selection committees by the UGC because there was a confusion whether the unit of the reservation will be the department or the entire university due to a Supreme Court judgment. Then an ordinance was brought by the government. Then you got the 2019 elections and a model code of conduct came into play. And therefore, for 6 months, we were not able to hold selections. Then in between, you had, officiating chief justices who said, let us wait for the regular chancellor, because unless the chancellor gives the nominee, you can't hold the selection committee. And therefore, this is how the selection committee could not be held. Nevertheless, we were able in 2021 December and January to hold some selection committees. For the first time in the history of NALSAR, we have fulfilled the requirement of the affirmative action in the faculty recruitment. As per the EC decision, you have reservations in certain categories. Those positions have been filled. Social sciences, you did not, when I took over, you did not have a single regular faculty. Now you have many. Almost all positions in social sciences have been filled. You are getting another history teacher on 1st of August. So I go with my head high that in a situation where I was not even given 1 month to complete my term in Odisha and was asked to travel and take over charge of NALSAR in the darkness of night, because it could not be handed over at that time. The situation was so bad to any internal person and to any officiating vice chancellor. I think the university has stabilized. in terms of its academics. Most of the regulations of NALSAR were made during this tenure. There is now hardly any discretion left with the Vice Chancellor. So the administrative processes have been made absolutely transparent. There was not a single file note when I took over. This filing system was not there. There was no green sheet in NALSAR. So the institutional memory was not there. There were vital papers, white papers on which some orders were made, and then those papers were lost. We were able to introduce the filing system, and now there is an institutional memory. And I could do all this because I had the support of the students, support of my faculty members. Professor Dhanda was leading from the front. Whatever I was able to do in NALSAR was largely because of her initiative and her support. And it will be wrong on my part to say that I did this. This was a collective administration of faculty members, students and non-teaching staff. There have been number of times when Nag Lakshmi overruled me and she said, sir, don't do this. You cannot do this. This will have this implication and that implication. And any assistant registrar can say this to a vice chancellor only when vice chancellor is willing to listen to a assistant registrar. Otherwise, assistant registrar don't open their mouth, before vice chancellor. I had 15 assistant registrars in Aligarh and they were not opening mouth even before me. What to say of a vice chancellor? A vice chancellor is supposed to have vices. I have all the vices. And therefore, I have been a vice chancellor for so long. But as I look back, yesterday I was just clearing papers. There were complaints against X and Y and Z. I, at times did not react. But 2-3 incidents, if I don't mention, then I will have little satisfaction that my students didn't know it. For 3 people, my students in these 10 years, they had a relationship and there was a breakup. And they came to me and said, sir, you apologize on my behalf to that person. I apologized and they made up. I can say it that you will get better vice chancellors, but such an experience would be quite impossible. Similarly, during COVID, I got some calls from the parents, very interesting calls. I feel like quoting it straight away. Ye ullu ka patta hai. I will not keep him in my house, you take him. And I had to bring those students on campus during COVID. And then we had this whole range of requests of hostile home environment. And because of the hostile home environment, we ended up getting some 66 or 63 students on campus. We were the first to reopen. And we were giving the maximum fee concession. No national law university has given as much fee concession as we have given. In fact, there are national law universities which charge even the hostel rent during COVID. So I had all kinds of experiences. There was one anonymous email written to me in December 2012 saying that this 95% attendance, which you have to put in if you want to get 5 marks in your paper, in all 250 marks were just for attendance, and students used to fake their academic leave in this. This is bad, and can you reconsider it? On the basis of one anonymous, email, we brought in a change, and it was not an easy change because for many years, The academic council was agreeing only to give me 1 year. Okay, experiment for 1 more year, experiment for 1 more year. But we abolish attendance. Now number of other law universities are following the suit. Similarly, the elective system we brought in. You had this 50 research papers requirement. This is atrocious, you know. Young people, we are killing them by asking them, and if they don't plagiarize, what will they do? And that's how, you know, we had to eventually change that. The reasonable accommodation policy and the hand holding we did for number of people. There were students who were in real emotional stress, largely the number of students from the affirmative action, section of our students, but then we extended it to foreigners, we extended it to other general students, and we tried to save the year of many students. Had I strictly applied the promotion rules, I was just thinking, at least 30, 40 students would have gone out of this system because of this vicious cycle of backlogs. We did their hand holding, all of them are well placed now, and that I think gives me immense satisfaction as I walk out of NALSAR. Of course, I didn't get time, you know, to pack up. So I will go to my parent university and then come back and pack up and finally go. So for a few more years, for a few more days, you will have me on campus. Of course, I won't come to the Vice Chancellor's office, but personally, you would be able to interact me if you so wish and desire. But this is a decade in which NALSAR has gone way ahead of other national law schools. How a public university should behave and what kind of university administration we should have, how students can be involved in the administration of the university, how they will take ownership. So in making of regulations, we involved students. In giving of tenders, we involved a student. From a VC-centric administration, I made it a student-centric administration, and that seems to be my singular achievement. The kind of welcome you gave me today and this farewell you are giving, I will remember it for long time in my life. In fact, I may not forget it at all, because I don't need a certificate from anybody what I did. The students have given the certificate. God bless you all. Student admitted to first year with 90% disability, cannot move out of his house. The mother wrote to number of national law universities, would you be able to accommodate if he conducts classes, attends classes from the home? We had some internal discussion. There was some reservation as usual. And finally, I was able to persuade that we can do it, because we have invested 5.5 crores in new digital smart classrooms. And that student is having a great time already in the first few days of classes. I think
His 1 decade of dedication, commitment, and love for us, I would request all of you to please give a standing ovation.